you for giving me the opportunity to speak here. My name is Kate Birch, and I am a homeopathic practitioner. I am the North American representative to the International Council of Homeopathy. I'm also a certified CEASE practitioner, which is Complete Elimination of Autism Spectrum Disorder. I'm here today to express my concerns about adding more vaccines to the already excessive vaccine schedule. I have a 27-year-old son who developed asthma and hyperactivity after his third DTP vaccine, and a 20-year-old daughter who is never vaccinated and has remained healthy ever since her life. I would like to offer that I hold a unique perspective on this subject as an alternative healthcare practitioner practicing under Statute 146A. I teach locally and internationally on the subject of infectious disease, the developing immune system, vaccine damage, and homeopathic disease prevention. I have been practicing. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're amongst friends.
I have been practicing for over 18 years and am versed with the use of homeopathy internationally to prevent diseases such as leptospirosis, meningitis, dengue fever, malaria, hepatitis A, diphtheria, polio, and more. In these years of my practice, the number of children coming to see me with vaccine damage has exponentially grown, as the vaccine record has also exponentially increased. Families of vaccine-injured children come to me when conventional doctors offer no solution to the effects of vaccine damage. I can say without a doubt that children who have received more vaccines have the most immune system damage. I believe it is the role of government to protect people from harm. I also understand that infectious disease is real, but I do believe that there needs to be an infectious disease prevention model which serves to protect the immune systems as well as prevent the diseases that they're trying to prevent. My understanding is that more vaccines, have not helped the immune system learn how to handle the infectious disease process. Moreover, with these attempts to reduce infectious disease incidence, what we are seeing is a profound increase in chronic health conditions in our children. In the U.S., we have 1 in 50 children with autism. 1 in 6 has a neurological deficit, and 1 in 10 has asthma. These are the kinds of children that I see in my practice. When you and I were in school, we were injected with a few vaccines. At that time, our immune system was mature and able to respond appropriately with a complete immunological response to those few vaccines. Today, over 36 doses of vaccines are injected into infants' immune systems, which are only beginning to develop. Moreover, these vaccines are given with the intention to stimulate antibody production through the addition of adjuvants. The problem is that infants are not able to produce antibodies until 1 or 2 years of age. What is the immune system to do with a series of antigens floating around the immune system if the body isn't able to produce antibodies to effectively resolve those vaccines? The antigens settle into the organ of affinity and weaken its function, i.e. the neurotoxins of the DTaP vaccine settle into the brain, where we begin to see tics and spasms and convulsions and things like that. Hepatitis A and B rest in the liver. And as we have introduced the hepatitis B vaccine into our society 20 years ago, what we're seeing now is an increase in incidence of hepatitis C and chronic liver conditions as a result. If the state mandates more vaccines, I can only conclude that we will be seeing more immunological damage in our children. For me, this is unacceptable. There are other ways to prevent infectious disease. Even the World Health Organization admits that education and sanitation go a lot further in preventing infectious disease than vaccines do, and they're more cost-effective. Conversely, if the perception is we need to have more vaccines because the vaccines are ineffective and you need booster shots, perhaps then we need to study the role of the vaccines and what they're actually doing as opposed to just adding more vaccines in the schedule. I will now share a story of one girl who received the DTaP booster, or Tdap booster, at the age of 11 after receiving all of the required childhood vaccines. I saw her 2 years after that vaccine was given. Despite her earlier vaccine, she was a bright and happy girl at the time of that vaccination. She was an A student and had lots of friends and could eat anything and lived a normal life. Immediately after the vaccine, while still in the doctor's office, she fainted and her pulse rate dropped to 80/40. Over the following months, she continued to have episodes of fainting and circulatory irregularities with hot and cold here and there, swellings here and there, and her legs turned blue. She began experiencing random numbnesses here and there and developed heart pains and lung pains where she couldn't breathe, as if her lungs would collapse. She progressively got worse with chronic ear infections and then developed a severe pustulating acne over her entire body. The acne was filled with green, foul-smelling, corrosive, itching discharge. The skin had gotten so bad she started not going outside. She stopped going to school and stopped seeing her friends. Her brain became inflamed, so she was unable to study or concentrate. She started sleeping all day and not able to sleep at night. She developed intolerances to all foods and was unable to digest anything. All food repulsed her, even water. She started becoming suicidal from the intense headaches and photophobia she was experiencing. Doctors were at a loss of how to treat her. They said this reaction had nothing to do with the vaccines. Over the course of the next 2 months, I treated her for the prolonged allergic reaction to the latex in the vaccine with various remedies and a homeopathic preparation of the Tdap vaccine. Slowly her appetite came back, her skin discharged and even more foul pus, but then started to clear. Her headaches went away, her concentration came back, she no longer was fainting or reacting to food. The heart pain stopped and the lungs could breathe freely. She continued treatment for 1 more month, during which time she developed a fever, the first fever she had had in 2 years, and for 2 days she sweated out a foul-smelling, rotten meat-like discharge. After the fever cleared, she said she felt like her normal self again. For me, it is clear this vaccine severely disrupted this child's immune system. This is one of the many cases I see each day. Vaccines have encrypted within them an information packet instructing the immune system to behave in a certain way, but to behave in a way that's foreign to the immune system's design. Not only are the specific antigens of the disease present in the vaccine, but the host incubation material, which can range from eggs to aborted fetal tissue cells, antibiotics, preservatives, and emulsifiers. In addition to that, there's a host of adjuvants that are added to enhance or force one aspect of the immune system to become hyperactive. And in that recent study that was just released saying that children these days are exposed to less antigens than they ever were before, this is true. What the study does not say is that the amount of adjuvants has increased tenfold, and it's those adjuvants which are causing the severe allergic reactions and why we're seeing asthma and food sensitivities and allergic system disruptions in the immune system because of the impart of those adjuvants. I don't believe it's in the natural design of the human system to ever experience eggs or yeast injected directly into the bloodstream.
Ms. Birch, we're about at the 10-minute point. I was
Yeah.
wondering if you could hit a few
Just
key
finish.
points. And
I am here today just to say that for the sake of the children, I do believe this state could take a stand, and that is a stand to request more science be done. A stand to look at further of what's actually happening in the immune system. If we are to inject multiple immunological agents into developing immune systems, we must look at the resulting immunological effect. We must observe that effect accurately and determine if that's the desired effect. So often parents will come to me and say, this is what happened right after the vaccine. I went to the doctor and the doctor said that has nothing to do with the vaccine. So part of what, if anything is passed in this, there needs to be more education for doctors to know what to look for, and that every immunological response, not in the first 24 or 48 hours after the vaccine, but for 2 or 3 even longer needs to be recorded, and if the cascade of that response is initiated at the moment of vaccine, that be recorded as a result of the vaccine. Thank you so much.